We've all been there, right? You're driving along, everything's fine, and then suddenly the car just lurches. It gets pushed by some invisible force. Well, today we're going to break down exactly what those forces are, and more importantly, how knowing about them can make you a way safer and a much more confident driver. I want you to think about a time you were just cruising along, perfectly normal day, and then, bam, the car pulls, or it shudders, or just feels weird. You correct it in a split second, of course, but for that one moment, your brain is just scrambling, asking this exact question. And in that little moment, when your heart jumps and it feels like control is slipping away, your first thought is probably, what did I do wrong? But here's the thing. A lot of the time, the cause isn't a mistake you made at all. It's an external force acting on your car. So let's actually answer that what happened question. What are these hidden pressures that are always out there on the road, just waiting to push and pull and test your control when you least expect it? Well, the answer is something called an external force. And I know it sounds super technical, but the definition is actually really simple. It's just any outside influence that's strong enough to shove your car off course. And we're not just talking about another car hitting you. This could be something as simple as a really strong gust of wind or a patch of road that changes without any warning. Now, to really get a handle on these moments, you've got to understand the rules of the game. And that means taking a quick look at the basic physics that governs every single mile you drive. But don't worry, I promise this isn't going to be a high school lecture. I absolutely love this way of thinking about it. Every car comes with that super thick owner's manual in the glove box, but the most important instructions, the ones about physics, they're invisible. Learning them is kind of like a shortcut to becoming a much more intuitive and a much safer driver. All right, first up, the big one, gravity. We all know it's what keeps our tires stuck to the pavement, but its effect on your car's handling is changing all the time, and that's where things start to get really interesting. This is all about what we call weight transfer. So picture this, you're braking and you're going downhill at the same time. Gravity is pulling all of that weight forward, loading up your front tires. And all of a sudden, your steering feels sharper, your braking distance changes, everything is affected by that shift. So gravity isn't just pinning you down, it's constantly moving your car's balance point around. So gravity keeps you planted on the road, but that's not what gives you control. For that, you need our second principle, friction. This is the force that actually lets you speed up, stop, and turn. At the end of the day, friction is just another word for grip. All of your control, your steering, your braking, your acceleration, it all comes down to that tiny little patch of rubber where each tire touches the road. And here's the most critical part. That grip is never, ever guaranteed. I mean, look at this. On dry asphalt, you've got tons of friction, amazing grip, everything's great. But you add just a little bit of water or some loose gravel or, heaven forbid, a patch of ice, and that friction, that grip you need, it can just plummet or sometimes disappear completely. So if friction is what lets you change direction, our third principle is the force that fights that change. You're not just fighting the road conditions, you're also fighting your car's own stubbornness. And that resistance is called inertia. Inertia is really just your car wanting to keep doing whatever it's already doing. If it's going 60 miles an hour in a straight line, it really wants to keep going 60 in a straight line. It's why you feel like you're thrown forward when you slam on the brakes. Your body's inertia wants to keep moving. And it's exactly why a huge truck needs so much more room to stop than a little sports car. Okay, that's enough theory. Let's take these ideas and put them where they actually matter, on the road. Because this is where a little bit of bad weather or a rough patch of pavement can just change all the rules in an instant. Wind is the perfect example. We've all felt it. A strong crosswind isn't just a gentle suggestion. It's a direct physical force that is literally pushing your car sideways. This is especially true for taller vehicles, right? Like SUVs or vans, where you find yourself constantly making these tiny little steering corrections just to stay in your lane. And it's not just wind. All of these things instantly change the physics of the situation. Standing water can make you hydroplane, which is basically a total loss of friction. Loose gravel on a corner, same thing. A big pothole creates a sudden, jarring shift in the car's weight. Each one of these is a real-world pop quiz on your understanding of these principles. So what's the big takeaway here? Why should you even care about gravity and friction and inertia? Well, how does knowing this stuff actually make you a better driver? It all comes down to a really important shift in your mindset. And this, right here, is the ultimate goal. The real power of knowing this stuff isn't just about being book smart, it's about changing how you think behind the wheel. When you start to recognize these external forces as they happen in real time, you stop just reacting to problems and you start anticipating them. Just look at the difference here. A reactive driver gets surprised when the car slides and asks, what just happened? But an anticipatory driver, they see that slick-looking corner up ahead, they understand the potential for losing friction, and they adjust their speed before anything bad happens. They're asking a much, much more powerful question. What might happen next? At the end of the day, understanding these forces is your best defense out there. You don't need to be a physicist. You just need to be a more aware, more connected driver who can actively reduce risk and stay in control no matter what the road decides to throw at you. So, I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you get in your car, don't just drive. Actually feel the car lean into a turn. That's inertia at work. Notice how the wind is pushing you. See that the texture of the pavement is changing up ahead. How can paying attention to these simple, invisible forces turn your everyday commute into a masterclass in vehicle control?
Please like, subscribe, and get notified.